keep that open a little bit?
No, because the noise. No. All right, well, hello out there in Maya TV land. Nina Childs here, and today we are interviewing the beautiful and very wonderful filmmaker, director, Annabelle Munro. Annabelle, welcome, and thank you for coming to talk to us today.
Thank you. Hi. Hi.
Now, I always like to start with letting the viewers out there know a little bit more about you and where you're from.
Well, I'm from Germany originally. I'm from a beautiful town called Speyer in the Rhineland. And yeah, I came here 17 years ago. Used to live in Berlin, then London, and then I moved to New York, and now I'm in Los Angeles for the last 17 years.
Berlin, New York, and LA, you've hit all the major cities. Berlin's a really major city out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you get your start as far as acting and filmmaking?
In my hometown at the local theater. We have a super nice theater, but also a school theater. That was the first time I was in a play. Yeah, and that was eye-opening and life-saving and life-changing, and I've never stopped ever since.
Well, that's awesome. So looking at the scope of your work, one of the films that you did really sticks out to me because it deals with something that a lot of women struggle with, which is body image. And it's the weight of perfection. Now, how did that film come about? Did you write that film? Did you just direct it, or were you just an actress?
So I worked prolifically on shedding light about eating disorders and what the struggle is all about, that eating disorders have a reason, because I'm a survivor of an eating disorder. And I met a lot of like-minded people who became recovery activists together with me. One of the biggest issues is that it's shame-based, nobody wants to talk about it, and then if you don't talk about it, you never heal. So that being said, this group of people, they were all in the entertainment industry, one day called me and said, hey, do you want to be part of this project? I'm like, totally, you know me. And they were talking about the director, and I'm like, when am I going to meet this director? And then a couple of meetings later, you are the director. I'm like, what? You never really asked me. Oh, now I know who that director is.
Wow.
So talking about me being the director. And that was wonderful with my friend Leanne, who was a person who grew up in the gymnast world, a wonderful actress who had given us a piece of her journal from the times when she had very severe issues with the pressure and eating disorders. And then, we reworked the journal and did the film. And she co-directed as well, because, it's part of her life, of course. And it's a very powerful film. It's about the demon of shame and hiding it, because it's about a coach triggering a promising gymnast into having bad body image issues. And we find out actually the coach is still actively suffering from it herself and is transferring it. So I gave spoiler alert. You can still watch it, but it's like you see how unresolved issues always continue, and if you
bleed out,
push them away, exactly, they go everywhere.
Wow, that's really powerful. Very interesting and a very timely subject matter, because I think a lot of women struggle with that. So that's interesting. I wanted to talk to you about your overall arc as a filmmaker. I know that most filmmakers kind of have an overall arc that they kind of just runs throughout their work. Like I always say, Quentin Tarantino's overall arc is pretty much violence, right? And Spike Lee's overall arc might be the Black experience. But with your films, what's your binding arc that you seem to come back to as far as themes?
I think it's the opposite of Quentin Tarantino, which is healing. But healing sounds boring because I'm also an entertainment professional, right? There is something to selling blood and like
and gore and violence,
fighting, so I would say the overall arch is actually a love explanation to human beings and healing, and showing, people in horrible situations making all the wrong choices and all the right choices, understanding why, It's my great desire to have, in general, more understanding and compassion for one another. And so, yeah, I love really dramatic content because I think it's a good warning, a good heads up for people who are going through things when they see the results of what you do when you make mistakes. You know, so you don't have to do what you see on screen. So I'm not like making boring films. They're full of drama and full of issues and dark often. But I think it's a great way to just foreshadow where things could be going if you don't, you know, seek your community and find your spiritual alignment and the love for your neighbor, all these things.
Wow, so it's more like a psychological arc of the human experience.
Absolutely. And I love human. You know, there's the people who say humans are the cancer. And I say, oh, we are the dancers, we are the lovers, we are, you know, we have so much potential. And I know so many who live up a lot to that potential.
I love that. We are the dancers. We're not the cancers.
Yeah.
We're the dancers.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And so, with that being said, I mean, that's one of your heavier projects that we talked about, The Way to Perfection. But what's been the favorite project that you've worked on? Like, what's your favorite project?
I'd say the Weight of Perfection for sure is in the top. But I am not a favorite type of person because I try to be in the moment. So what I'm doing right now is my favorite right now.
All right.
So if you ask me who's your favorite friend or what's your favorite film, I'm always like, oh, there are too many good ones, and they are my favorite maybe in that category of a million categories.
Right. So you don't really have an overall favorite project.
I have an issue judging. Even though I have a film festival and I also judge films, then I'm different. But because there's a criteria, you know, like
that you have to go by. So let's get into that. You are the director for the, World Cultural Film Festival, right?
And Ethos Film Awards, which is my own.
Oh,
but
nice.
For the other one, I've been asked to fulfill the position at the World Culture Film Festival.
Okay, and I know that last year was the inaugural year, so what was that like directing a film festival? Is there anything like producing a film, or was it like 10 times busier?
It's very different. I think what the number one thing you have to bring if you do a film festival is you have to be very stress resilient and very, very experienced with personalities. And especially in the film industry, we can all agree to that these personalities
are big.
Some of them are not very healthy behaviors that you see. There's like always surprises from production. We know the day you want to start shooting, something burns down or the car broke down.
Or you don't have a permit.
Yeah, you have to be very, very crisis experienced. And then you also have to understand the psychology of filmmakers, especially emerging, but also the top people. There's like, you know, different delicate issues at the top where you need to give special protection and not turn this into a show, you know, selling their being a celebrity. You got to protect them. Yet you want to create mentorships for the emerging ones, and then you have to filter out, you know, who are the ones who are very sincere, who are stable and have a promising path. It's, yeah, you got to know people, I guess. You understand filmmakers and be stress resilient, and I love it.
It keeps you busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love about it because I have been a producer for so long and director. Our jobs come at random. They come and go. It's always saying, now I'm working, and now it's gone.
I know.
And it's always dependent on other people.
Yeah.
You know, unless
Reaching
you're a
out.
studio boss. And the beauty of a film festival is that once a year, a specific date where you show up, you have time to invite people. There's no surprises. I mean, there's a lot on the day off, but I love that it's a stable thing once a year.
I love that too. We'll have to let the people know how they can submit their films. Is it on Film Freeway?
Film Freeway.
There it is.
Film Freeway.
Go on Film Freeway and look for the World
Cultural Film Festival and Ethos Film Awards, my own. World Culture Film Festival focuses on content that uplifts, mine on purpose-driven content.
Okay, perfect. And now I always like to ask what I say is like more cerebral questions because I feel like you said, we're the dancers, we're the dreamers. I think that it's very important to dream. And with that being said, what's a dream collaboration for you? Like whether it be with a studio, with a certain actor, with a certain genre, like what's a dream of yours that you would like to see fulfilled as far as your career?
Well, I have my own scripts
Okay.
to start with, and they are very quirky. I think I'm not only quirky, some of them are on the darker side. Yeah, this would be a dream to realize my own scripts and direct them, direct my films, but they come at quite a little budget.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is I've been working prolifically in the recent years as a director, so I think the likability that I can direct them, you know, and get money for it is getting higher and higher. So that would be my dream, to do my own projects. And then, you know, I love working with people that have that I know. You know, it's like a film family over almost 20 years in LA. There are people who I saw rise that are so kind and so professional. So I'm a very loyal person. So if I get the greatest joy if I can bring back people that I love and have worked with in the past. And then I don't know, you know, A-listers, I don't know how they are. It is you know, you meet a person when you create a baby, artistic baby, and you want to know it's a fit. So I don't know. I haven't met them yet.
Right, you can't. You like most people will just judge from the outside. Like, no, Meryl Streep's great. I want to work with her one day.
I don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. She's amazing.
She is amazing. I always say she's the best actor. Period.
Yeah,
male or female.
Phenomenal, of course.
She's just at the top of her game. But that's interesting. You've got some very interesting answers that I've never heard before. I've asked a lot of people these same questions and have not gotten answers this interesting. So, with that, I wanted to talk more about some of your personal life, because I'm a mom, and I think a lot of people in this business feel like you can't be a mom and be in this business and be an executive or be a producer, director, filmmaker, whatever. How do you balance and juggle being a mom with your, you know, day-to-day life and stuff?
I do have a secret to all of that, and it's that I have a manager up there.
Won't you do it? Won't you do it?
It sounds super phony, but I've tried it without giving it over to the big manager up there and doing it on my own. On my own sucked. It was very stressful. It brought me into a lot of trouble, and ever since I figured, hey, wait a second, maybe I should surrender and let somebody else take the wheel. And I can only say that really works for me. It's very interesting. I mean, I could go on and on, but I had so much inexplicable luck ever since I decided to use that strategy instead of pushing hard and trying hard and, you know,
trying to meet this person and network and
yes.
You're like, I just network with God and Jesus and it works out.
See, how can I help the other person? And that has served me very, very well. And as I said, divine miracles, job-wise, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have timed that better. I couldn't have even come up with that in the first place.
Or getting those calls out of nowhere.
Yeah, and dealing with the motherhood, you know, that it all goes hand in hand. If I try to explain my life to people, they're like, oh, how do you, when, what?
How do you do it?
What's up? What?
Yeah, that's the question that you get. That's pretty amazing. That's a great answer as well. Definitely need to be aligned spiritually to be able to balance and walk that tightrope.
Knowing exactly when to let go and when to tug. And so I wake up every morning at 5 to 5:30 just to have time for myself to pray. Sorry, I don't want to be phony. That's just what I do and it works for me. And I get my direction for what to do, and then come 7 o'clock I wake up my kids and say, get up now, pull a blankie, and off we go to school.
That's truly an inspirational answer. Thank you for sharing that with us. Speaking of your career, so you let me know about something that totally blew my mind, because you just introduced me to a new world with vertical TV. I had never heard of that, and just to know that you are in that space and you're working feverishly, you're doing a lot of production. Tell the people out there what vertical TV is and how did you get your start in that?
Yeah, I stumbled into this. My friend from China said, ooh, I'm doing this stressful project, I need your help. So I helped her with so many different things on the project. And she said, it's vertical. I was like, what is that? Sounds phony. You know, like I know from the telephone, these like soap operatic, like mini series. And I have seen it, but I didn't really like it. I was like, what is this? I went on set and I was so impressed by the quality of the crews, by the actors. You know, I've never really worked a lot with non-union actors. And here come these gorgeous actors who learn like 30 pages overnight, are fit and are humble and dedicated to the craft. I'm like, whoa, wait. And then I looked at the monitor, I was like, oh, wait, that is beautiful. Portrait mode, completely never used before in film, and here we come. Even though the scripts are still a little bit on the lighter side and overly dramatic side, but it is a industry that has been grown in China for quite a while, and the market is huge. It's people watching on their phone. That's why it's shot vertical, and it's geared for social media. It's mini-series, but in the end of the day, a whole film that you watch episode by episode. You get the first 10 for free, and then you have to go through a paywall on an app. Yeah, so I have been discovered on that first gig that I helped with to direct one, and I have to admit, I loved it. And I had fun with the phony scripts and the crazy mother-in-law and the CEO and the intrigue and the this and the that and the actors. It was the actors and the crew that made it work because they were super professional, very impressed. And I think it's going to be a staple in the film industry, and all that this industry is waiting for is the scripts that they, get a little bit deeper and not always the same formula, but it will get there because the format itself, vertical portrait, is beautiful. It focuses all on human beings. And since I love human beings, maybe that's why I love vertical so much.
Yeah, I got to see some of the things that you showed me on the app, and I was blown away. Like these shows have millions of views.
Yeah.
18 million views, 30 million views, 200 million views. And I mean, how long does it take to shoot one?
8 days.
8 days.
8 days, and it's 2 camera setup. As I said, very, very professional, and it's the thinking behind is very marketing wise, so that's why the storytelling suffers a little bit. But I think it's here to stay. It's not my dream for the future to do verticals. I'm like an artist, truly, and I was very snobby on the first one. Oh gosh, okay, I have to put my name off. But I changed my whole attitude. It was another surrender moment where I was like, hey, maybe don't be so snobby. Maybe try it out and see what you can do with it. And as I said, the actors and teams are amazing.
What I saw looked incredible. So that's really interesting. I can't wait to do my own deep dive into the world of vertical TV.
They need writers.
Well, there it is. And I need jobs. No. So no, that's really awesome. I'm going to download that app today.
Yeah.
But I always like to ask too, what's next for you? I know that you've got the film festivals coming up. When is the Ethos Film Festival?
In November. Every November. And World Culture Film Festival is coming up in July. I'll be directing a short film, a coming of age, about a frat boy and a musician who meet. So it's completely different to the vertical world. It's horizontal, that's its best. But I met the actor at a vertical shoot. He was one of the lead actors. It's great. All these people, they work on big shows, small shows, make their own stuff. Yeah,
so it's like an artist community.
And verticals, it's nice to earn a little money as well. It's not crazy like studio, but how wonderful for the film industry to have steady gigs as well.
Yeah.
It's entertainment industry and not charity. How many gigs have I worked for free in the name of art, right? And with kids, that's not exactly great. So I'm grateful that there's work in town. While we have a low for work ever since COVID, it has never really bounced back in the horizontal world.
No, not what it used to be at all. And a lot of people are taking their productions elsewhere. So for my last question, let the viewers out there know who are interested in maybe doing a film to submit for film festival. Can you give them any tips on best practices for getting their film into a film festival?
Yes. Fill out all your stuff on Film Freeway. A movie without a poster is not a good idea. If you have a trailer, make one. If you don't have one, make one. Put it all up. Stills, very effective, because if you go through 3,000 submissions, the human brain makes an opinion very fast, and if it's blank and I have to watch your movie all the way, you already have been surpassed by all the people who understand the game of the entertainment industry, which is metadata, telling you what the film is about in the first 3 seconds, which is your poster, your synopsis, who are you as the filmmaker. And now the add-on is, I'm all for personal connection, and I was always so afraid of it myself. I always thought, oh, I don't want to be pushy, I don't want to come across as if I'm wanting too much. But it is a very good practice to just write an email and not expect a response. That's a bad idea, but write an email, short and sweet, say who you are, what's important to you, what's your passion, because that stuff, I read it and it makes a difference. You know, if somebody treats this film like they spent 30 years making it and everything's in it, or nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great advice, guys. Make sure you write those cover letters. But that's all for us today. Thank you so much, Annabelle, for joining us. And thank you guys out there for watching. We'll be back with more interviews, so do not move. Bye.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.